My name is Salman Hamid, and I'm Assistant Professor of Integrated Science and Humanities at Hampshire College.
I'm Kevin Anderson. I teach courses in film and anthropology at the University of Massachusetts, and this is Film Autopsy. Hello and welcome to a film autopsy of a new film by Pedro Almodovar, The Skin I Live In, starring Antonio Banderas, Elena Ayas, and Marisa Paredes. Both of those actresses have been in a number of Almodovar films before, and it's nice to see Antonio Banderas in a film where he's not just Antonio Banderas. He's acting, he's performing, he's got a lot of dimensions to his performance and his character. He plays a rather well-to-do, he's not just a surgeon, he's a very well-to-do surgeon and lives in this, I don't know if we'll have time to talk much about the setting, but I think the setting is quite important to the film. It's set in Toledo. And he actually operates this kind of experimental surgery within his home. And so it's this nice architectural mix of like old stone walls and wooden doors and floors, and then very clean, strikingly, clear glass walls and medical gadgets and things like that. And it really, in many ways, not just in terms of the look and the fact that his lab is at his home, but it is kind of a Spanish language Frankenstein film with a very interesting love story in the middle of it.
Yeah, and I would say almost Frankenstein's bride play a big role in this
Frankenstein
film.
and his bride.
And his bride actually does a big role. But by the way, Antonio Banderas, I mean, I loved him in Desperado, so so that was great. But anyway, no, this is, again, it's an Almodovar film, so obviously we are dealing with a lot more than simply a surgeon who is crafting things on. Instead, I mean, he is really stressing on the importance of the face.
Well, he has a patient. We'll put patient in quotes.
Right. He has a patient who has been working on, but he's the one who claims, like, in the beginning of the film, that he's the one who has performed most face transplants in the world. Out of like 5, he has performed 3 or something like that, and so he is really doing that, and he stresses a lot on facial expressions and what face can do, and how faces can change, and in some sense, the movie focuses on that. The science angle, in many ways, I thought was interesting. When you see the lab, you have all these different modern scientific instruments in it, and yet they keep on bringing up the fact that what he is doing, if scientific community finds out, they will be pretty upset about it.
Ethically questionable.
Ethically questionable. And when we actually do find out, we think that it's not simply ethically questionable within the scientific community, but even the broader human community, as any human being. So anyway, but it's a beautifully shot film, and I don't think we have to say that. Again, the colors are wonderful. There is, at one point in the film, a person in a tiger costume come into the film. So
and he comes in like stage right. It's like the servants are leaving stage right, and he comes in, and it's a kind of a bizarre. It takes place that moment during Carnival, so there is somewhat of a logical connection to why this person is wearing a tiger outfit.
Almodovar wanted somebody to be in a tiger costume into this film, and he thought Carnival would be a good excuse to put him in.
Oh, you think that came first?
But we should mention that one important character in the film is the caretaker or the head servant, which is a woman, an elderly woman,
played by Marisa Paredes,
who is also the father of
No, I think she would be the mother.
the mother. Oh, sorry.
Of the surgeon. But there's
Once
a
I'm
lot
saying
of
that there's
transformations going on in
when
this
I'm
film.
saying there is a good reason why I was confused about that, but yes, she's the mother. She's the mother of the surgeon, and also of the person who comes off in the tiger costume.
Yeah, the surgeon's
and so
half-brother.
and again, there are a lot of movies that are dealing with class issues and gender issues, and this
Class,
is again another film
gender,
where we are seeing
incest.
here is a really like rich surgeon, but again, a lot of it is run by, and the most important person in his life is this servant slash mother slash caretaker slash whatever you want to call it.
Right. And I think another one of the things I would just add in there is I think incest, although we differ on that, but also just in general transformation. And I think this is interesting because one of the things that Antonio Banderas is doing as the surgeon, in addition to working with like facial reconstruction, but he's also attempting his larger experiment is to create a perfect skin, one that would resist bug bites, disease, cuts, burns, and whatnot. And that's so interesting because he's trying to create this perfect skin that would be really resistant to transformation. Yet in so many other aspects of the story and what he's trying to do is he's trying to transform and recreate and bring back to life something. So I think what happens to him in the end is, well, we're not going to give anything away, but
that's where the Frankensteinian theme. I think that is an appropriate way of saying Frankenstein as interpreted by Almodovar.
Yeah.
This movie makes you uncomfortable. I mean, I think it's not an easy film to watch, and but I think it's wonderfully done. It's beautiful.
Yeah. It has some sexual assault scenes, we do have to say, that are quite difficult to watch.
So this is certainly not a PG or a PG-13 film.
But like anything Almodovar
if you are under 10 and if you are watching this Autopsy,
what are they doing watching this Autopsy?
You should not be watching Autopsy anyway. But don't watch this film.
But like almost all of Almodovar's films, they're just so visually rich and they're constructed in very unconventional ways. I think it's a great cinematic experience. I mean, I would recommend it to just about anybody, but with some some caution that this is certainly a darker and more kind of explicitly difficult to watch film.
Not necessarily depressing film. I mean, I think it's a tough film, but not depressing.
Yeah. All right. So The Skin I Live In. I mean, we just did an autopsy of it. I think it's
go and watch it.
Healthy.
Midnight with the stars and you. Midnight.